This short woman, little woman, fireball of a woman, who gave me a lot of good ideas and just mentored me through my first year of outdoor ed. She moved on and she went into other programs. She got her teaching credential, and she worked in the classroom for a few years, but she relentlessly continued working in outdoor ed. She worked with Pat Crocker for a lot of years. I'm not sure how many years she worked with Pat. Only a couple of years?
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of years. And then she ended up spending most of her career at Camp Campbell. And she helped to actually form and create that program. She had a lot of input into making Camp Campbell what it is today. And the thing that, well, the first thing one of the things that one little story that I'll share with you, her last name used to be Rowe. And I remember us laughing hilariously over doing this. Do you ever sing the song with the kids, row, row, row your boat, and you leave off the last word? You're familiar with that? So you get down to, and we used to just do this for our own entertainment because her last name was Rowe, because at the end you'd go row, 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 row. So we used to always just love that. I don't know, that's how we entertained ourselves, I guess. But life was simpler then. But she has been, and this is a beautiful thing, she has been working as a lot of people that get this Howard Bell Award are rock star children's band musicians, or so they're out there in the public eye and the glitz and all that, or they're administrators. Everybody knows who they are because they've been just hanging around for a long time. It's time that they get the award. Not saying that they didn't deserve it, but what this person has done, she's been in the field as a naturalist all these years. I'd say 30 years. It could be close to 30 years. A little blip there in the classroom, but she decided to come back and continue being a naturalist. Not only has she been a naturalist, she's never let herself get tired of being a naturalist. She's continued to work on her own skills, her own inspiration. She is somewhat of a naturalist. She's gone through a lot of the John Young type of ideas and training. She continues still to go out to the tracking beach on Saturday or Sunday tracking mornings, and goes out there and hones her tracking skills. So she continues to stay vibrant and dynamic and alive in her teaching. And the other thing that I will always remember, and maybe what she's taught me, and I shared this a little at my workshop, and this idea of when you're out with your kids, looking at the kids as that, so that when you come back from your hike, you have a kid's story, because you have focused on kids and what kids do. And I tell you, when I'm with her, either after she's been with kids or when I was with her with kids, she would look at kids with this, kid would talk to her and she'd just stop. And she'd smile, and there was this look on her face of, you are the most curious, interesting little being I've ever seen. And every kid is treated that way with her. And it's a wonderful thing, and it's wonderful if we can just always look at these kids and say, these kids just make me laugh, and they are joyous, and I think that's the reason for her success, because that's what keeps it so dynamic. We might be doing the same trail, eating the same food, doing the same thing on certain days that we've done over and over and over, and she's done it for 30 years. But what keeps it dynamic is those kids, because every single one is different and everyone has a story, and she is willing to be open to those lives and those curious little beings out there. So that's the inspiration, and I am very proud to award. Am I going to call up our Mark now, or do we, before we tell who it is? So it's Lisa Curnett, formerly Lisa Rowe, and Mark Hubbard's going to come up and
How's everyone doing? This has been an awesome conference.
Yeah.
And I'm just proud to say that Lisa was my mentor to become a naturalist, and she has a special place in my heart. My mom lives in Pennsylvania, and her name's Lisa, and Lisa's kind of become my surrogate California mom, so to say. So on Friday, she comes up to me, and she hands me this speech, and she's like, Mark, will you read it for me? So these are Lisa's words, and here it goes. Oh my goodness. I am absolutely stunned to hear this. My first thought is, who me? Why me? And my second thought is, oh dear, I can't even be there. It's my nephew's marriage, and like you wonderful people here at this conference, my family is gathering from far and wide. So I'm so sorry not to be there, and so incredibly grateful for this honor. I have tears in my eyes as I realize I have been one of the lucky ones, to know so early what I wanted to do. Just like the young man reading this, who delivered a pizza to Camp Campbell in the Redwoods, and looked around at the people celebrating and honoring the earth, and knew in his heart that he was in the right place. A place where he could use his education and his teaching skills to inspire. I knew 40 years ago, as a 15-year-old cabin leader at Jones Gulch, that I found my career. Nowhere else in society, in its mad rush to develop and cement over all the places I loved, I had found people who would stop and listen to the bird song. People who could just find the joy or the feeling of the sun on their skin, or the taste of the fog, or the smell of the ocean breeze. People who would notice the earth is speaking, in the giggles of excited children, and in the beauty of the cotton floating off the cottonwood trees. I found people who dared to remain sensitive, and who would find ways to spark reverence in the earth for others. Well, I knew I found the foundation for the rest of my life. How lucky we are to be outdoor educators. And how incredibly lucky I've been to know some of you. People who inspired me and mentored me. Tim, Marshall, Steve, Stephanie, Kara, and Pat Crocker. The list is long. I've spent 40 years in awe of you. Sorry. Talented people who make the music rise in others. Interns who go beyond and become the movers and shakers of their field. People who can track a deer or light a fire with a bow drill and coach others to success. People who can turn a science standard into a game that opens the mind of a child from any background. People who can tell a story that can calm a rowdy crowd or spark an ember in a disaffected heart. I believe I have met some of the most beautiful and amazing people in the world. I've been able to witness the incredible creativity that emerges when one keeps his heart or her heart young. Thank you, all of you, for what you do. And, as the young man who is reading this often says, stay positive and love your life.
That was epic. We should just close right there.